I turned 16 this year, and I think for me, it was the first time that I didn't write myself a birthday letter. And it used to be a ritual, private, a little dramatic, but it was always very real. It was the same Google Doc, Times New Roman. And I'd ask myself 40 questions. I'd ask myself, like, what's my favorite hobby? What's my biggest fear? Who did I have a crush on? And I made myself fill it out like like a personality inventory, as if, the shape of my answers would tell future me who I really was. And I think a part of it wasn't a performance. I wanted to kind of sound a certain way, and I wanted future me to read it and be impressed. But it was also real. Like, I liked it. It was fun. It gave me like a weird sense of, permanence. Like, if I wrote something down, it couldn't be erased. If I documented who I was, I wouldn't disappear. But this year, I turned 16 this year, on June. June 1st, mark your calendars, guys. Just kidding. I sat down, I opened my journal, and I closed again. Sorry, my dog. Nothing came, and there wasn't even like a bad first sentence. Not even something ironic. The silence felt so loud. And it felt like, the absence of myself. I was waiting for the spark that always came to arrive. Like, always, like when you write and like it kind of just clicks into place, but it didn't. I'd like to think that my ritual didn't fail though. It just didn't respond. It's like when you call an old friend and you want to call them, but they changed their number. It's kind of like that. It did make me feel strange though. I think disconnected from myself and kind of embarrassed. Like, I was watching the scaffolding of who I thought I was, and I start to buckle under the pressure of trying to make it mean something. 16 didn't feel like the beginning of a new chapter. It felt like I got dropped in the middle of a paragraph with no punctuation, and I woke up expecting to feel a shift, like that glossy teen movie glow, but it was just a day. Like, I think I was still very tired. My skin looked the same. I didn't get more free. I didn't get more beautiful. I wasn't even more wise. I think everyone asked me what I wanted to do to celebrate. I don't know. I didn't want to be perceived. Well, I ended up still posting a birthday post because, sweet 16, I thought that I owed it to myself to do that, to make it special. But it passed through like a fog. I think what I do remember that day was I lit a candle, I sprayed perfume on my wrist, and it slid off me because nothing landed. And I wasn't like transformed that day. I think I was just older. Like you just get that. I think that being older started to hurt though. Like, not physically, but I think I've always just been told that, oh, you're so mature, you're so articulate for your age. And I used to like that. I still love that. And to be honest, now it feels more like a trap. Because I think when people expect you to be ahead, they kind of just stop checking up on you. I think they stop giving you the space to not know who you are. They stop like offering you softness, and suddenly when you're 16 and you're emotionally exhausted and you're trying to hold yourself together in public because, you've accidentally kind of just branded yourself as this girl who has kind of something figured out, in the sense that like, this is Marie, oh, like she's the girl who does that thing, and you're trying to be legible. And I think the silence this year wasn't like meditative in any way. It wasn't wise. It just felt like, I couldn't meet myself anywhere. I kept asking questions that, like, they just didn't land. Like, did I still believe in God as this presence, or did I just miss the feeling of believing? Like, is stillness actually healing or is it just me trying to shut down? And I sat in front of like this Google Doc for hours and I kind of just like existed. I think blankness, it was blankness that didn't feel like a possibility. It was blankness that kind of seemed like that erasure that I was talking about in the start. I kind of realized, how often I perform insight af- before I've actually like processed anything. Like I say something that sounds really emotionally mature, but it kind of just I only fully realize and like internalize it a few months later. Like sometimes I just rewatch my old videos and try to figure out what I was trying to tell myself. Like I'm always, like I think I'm always thinking like in performance, even now as I currently speak. I'm aware that this will become content, right? And that that awareness, like that self surveillance can be exhausting. But also, like, wait, I don't know. Because again, sometimes performance is survival. Sometimes it's expression, and sometimes it's the only way I know how to connect with myself. So I don't think that, performance is always fake. It can be intentional, it can be a kind of autonomy. What scares me is how much of my life already feels like it's being lived for like my imaginary archive. Like I'm making memories so I can kind of just remember them beautifully later. Not so much so like I can experience them now. I spend like so much time trying to be, the girl that I want to look back on, that I forget to be the girl like I am now. Like I'm scared that even if I got into my dream college and did all of these things, I realized that I kind of just like rehearsed my life. I don't want that to happen. I mean, yeah, I think there's beauty there too. There could be beauty there too. I think if 10-year-old me, that's when I think I started writing letters to myself. She saw me now, I think she'd be so fucking impressed. She'd be like, "Oh my God, this girl is so cunt." And I think she's right. Like I am cunt. Just kidding. But I do express myself the way I want to, right? Like I dress the way I want. I walk into a room and I feel like myself, right? And I've gone through so much and sometimes I forget to actually sit down and see it. It's been such I've learned so much and I've grown into myself. That's not nothing, right? And that's something. And there's also this lingering ache though, this like feeling, this like half-formed thought that maybe built I built an identity out of being self-aware instead of actually being alive. I don't know though. That maybe that's just literally just what 16 is because everyone around me is getting their driver's license, they're getting into their first relationships, applying to college, figuring out who they want to be. Like this is the year I fear. And I'm just currently sitting in a chair outside speaking into my earbud, trying to catch up to a version that, I can live with and not even like a better version that I've always talked about, just one that feels close. I think and one that I can write a letter and feel like I'm not lying. So I didn't write my birthday letter this year. And I don't have a lesson or redemption arc to offer you. I'm not going to say that, this is okay. This is what growth is. This is what growth looks like. And all I know is that right now I showed up to myself and I didn't know what to say. And I think instead of making something up, I stayed quiet. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean nothing. That silence meant something. And maybe it doesn't. But at least that silence was honest and I was honest.